Roll the ball, let the games commence. From the silent to the pitch, feel the suspense. Tactics, passion, the fans in a trance. We're here to discuss, give every team a chance. Strap in tight, let the whistle blow. For every win or loss, we'll let you know. This is the All Sports Podcast, feel the thrill. From every tackle, every shot, we got the skill. In the world of football, we're taking the stage. So plug in your headphones, turn the page.
What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to the NFL segment of the All Sports Podcast. My name's Alejandro Rodriguez, and this is episode 5, part 1. Let's get into it. Alrighty. Thursday night football, guys. The Atlanta Falcons did play the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to kick off Week 5. Kirk Cousins, yet again, showed why he earned that $180 million contract, as he threw for a career-high 509 yards with 4 touchdowns, with the last touchdown getting in overtime to give the Atlanta Falcons the victory over the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Now, what you'll probably hear in this moment is people working outside my house, so I do apologize, but let's get back into it. Again, the 4 touchdowns that Kirk Cousins threw is a career best, while his yardage through the air easily eclipsed his previous career high of 460 yards when he played for the Minnesota Vikings back in 2022. Another history-breaking moment was that Kirk Cousins broke former best friends and former Atlanta Falcons quarterback Matt Ryan's team record for passing yards in the game, which was previously 503 yards, with one of the most prolific performances in NFL history. Now, this is what I mean by a handful of quarterbacks have done this. In history, dating back to 1951, I believe, only 14 quarterbacks have thrown for more yards. I believe the highest throwing yard completion was led by Norm Van Brocklins, who threw about 554 yards, and that was back in 1951. So that only tells you how good it was and how good Kirk Cousins had to be in order to pull this type of feat off. And now, enough talk about the Falcons. Let's talk about the Buccaneers. Baker Mayfield threw for 180 yards on the day with 3 touchdowns, 2 of them to wide receiver 1, Mike Evans, and 1 to former New York Giant wide receiver Sterling Shepard. Rashad White led the team in rushing yards with 72 on the day, while Chris Godwin led the team in receiving yards with 64, followed by Mike Evans with 62 yards on the day. Now, this game legitimately came down to the wire. It went into OT, which is what we love to see. Being able to watch the last maybe quarter in overtime, it was incredibly exciting to watch because legitimately you didn't know who was going to win until literally the last play. Baker Mayfield, even though he's had a little bit of a rocky run in some of his games, has done incredibly well with placing the football where it needs to be, when it needs to be. And seeing him go down this road with basically being thrown only 180 yards compared to what he's done in the past couple of weeks was a little bit weird, only because, Baker Mayfield has kind of rejuvenated his career since leaving Carolina. And now, watching him get his guys involved, which is something that I believe in previous episodes I was talking about, it's actually good that he's able to actually connect on most of these throws. So that's great to see coming on his end. Now, obviously, on the other side, you got Kirk Cousins, who has been tremendous this year for the Atlanta Falcons. Being able to pass Matt Ryan in passing yards, which Matt Ryan was like a long-time Atlanta Falcons quarterback. Watching Cousins being able to throw the football the way that he did in this game was just absolutely amazing to watch. So, Falcons fans, what do we think? This is almost another record that Kirk Cousins has broken since becoming your starting quarterback when you signed him in the offseason. You do face the Carolina Panthers next week in Week 6. The Panthers have haven't really been doing too well, except with the change of Andy Dalton as the quarterback, which kind of gave them a little bit of a rejuvenation. But how do you guys feel going into there, knowing the fact that you guys are the favorites? And Tampa Bay, how are we feeling about the fact that, Baker Mayfield has kind of hit a little bit of a mini slump? Even though he did throw for 3 touchdowns, he only threw them on very minimum yardage. And, with you guys playing the Saints next week in week 6, while the Saints basically have just come off playing the Kansas City Chiefs, we'll talk about that in part 3. How do we feel? The Saints are 2-3. I believe you guys, as of right now, are, I would say, maybe 3-2 as of the making of this episode, with the most recent loss to the Falcons, like I just mentioned. How do you guys feel? Hit me up on the X, on NFL on X _. Again, that's NFL on X _. It was a credible time talking to you guys about Thursday Night Football. I know it's incredibly short for this episode, for this part, because basically it was very clear, cut, and dry. The game was incredibly exciting. I enjoyed it, having the ability to watch all these new teams play with this type of adventure that, me and my co-hosts are all currently on. It's very interesting because most of the time we only stick to our teams. Now we have the opportunity to watch every single team and give our feedback. But definitely hit us up on the X, hit us up on Instagram. Don't forget to follow the podcast on all of the social medias. That's allsports_pod. Again, that's allsports_pod. And I cannot wait to talk to you all at the end of week 6. Later, guys.
We'll cover it all. Catch the spirit of the game. We're ready to ball. From the fans to the players, we'll cover it all. Catch the spirit of the game. We're ready to ball.